just to be safe.
Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Lisa Draves.
Here.
Jack McGraw.
Here.
Alan Mutherini.
Here. Okay, approval of minutes from February 21st, 2024.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from February 21st, 2024.
Second. Roll call, please.
Lisa Draves.
Yes.
Jack McGraw.
Yes.
Alan Mutherini.
Yes. Okay, correspondence. Invoice and payments.
So for invoicing, we just wanted to bring it to the board's attention now that we are starting to get more active with MS4 and we are starting to do more outreach and communication and whatnot. As of now, the stormwater or MS4 does not have its own budget. So in regards to invoicing and whatnot, we just wanted to see, did you want a copy of any invoices in regards to MS4 stormwater? POs, just know about it. So just kind of where do we want to go from here?
As we move forward, I think to keep the record straight, we probably should be doing an invoicing, or I don't know that we're going to need PO. We may, because we've done some cammering of storm sewers and that becomes very expensive. When you get into that kind of funds, you should make sure that we've got a process that we can follow. So I would probably recommend or would entertain something that would put in motion that anything to deal with over
500.
500.
That's the current
Yeah,
policy,
right, yeah.
$499.99.
100 would be, we would need a
Okay,
PO for it.
so just kind of following suit.
Yes, follow suit.
All right.
at what has been set up in the previous
All right.
departments.
Do we have to make a motion for that?
I don't think you have to. Yeah, I think we just wanted to see,
Get
did
it.
you want a copy of any invoices pertaining to stormwater?
Yeah, I just still want to look at them to make sure. that-
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
That was
Okay,
really quick.
engineers report.
Okay, so I have a handful of things. And one of them is, I had emailed the board, whether you're starting now, but I emailed you a copy of the, MS4 Part C that was due the item, so that got put in the mail. And, so that's one item, and then I know that we'll be like kind of working with Brandon, because there's a lot of forms in that Part C, you know, make sure that like inspections that are happening and being documented properly, so that's going to be an ongoing thing. And then another item, the Burns Harbor CCMG project was awarded a little bit ago to Reeve Riley, so there's gonna be paving again in the town. And one of the streets is Cohen Street, and so there were in the past a couple resident complaints about the swale, I think, on the east side of the road. So as part of the CCMG, we're going to see about regrading some of that swale. So just know that from a storm perspective, that, you know, that's tacked on to the CCMG project, so there won't be any billing that occurs.
For the stormwater.
Right, but it is a storm, you know, storm related. Now, typically, just FYI, major storm projects, you may notice, can't get into the CCMG, but this is kind of like secondary to the road. So I think that's why PennDOT allows smaller things like that, maybe a catch basin here or there. But again, you wouldn't expect a major storm sewer to get paid fully with CCMG funds. So that was one of the items, and then the other, well, it's on the agenda, so I could speak of Hagland Road now, or.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask questions about the Cohen Street?
Yes, I may not have the answer right
Yes.
this minute,
So
but we'll be
I-
to talk,
Right, because I actually live on Coach Street.
okay?
And I believe I know who you're talking about with the swales. I
Okay,
believe they're my neighbors, but
okay.
I actually was talking to him about this. So what is it that they're thinking of doing?
This has, I'll interrupt a
Yeah,
little
go
bit,
ahead.
because Vicky had talked to me, this has nothing to do with the swales themselves. What they're talking about is where the road ends
Yep.
and the area from there to the swales. The gravel and the sloping and the pitching of that falls under what they're gonna, because they're gonna be repaving the road. They're gonna make sure that that's all graded properly. The swales themselves, that falls under a whole different category of cleaning them or correcting them, or if there's an issue with them, that doesn't really come under sanitary, paving, it comes under a different
Okay.
thing, so that's why when you were asking that question, that I think that kind of helps you understand where he's going. They're having issues, well, they're having issues with the drainage of the cul-de-sacs on Cone Street.
I just
wanted to know.
I was making the assumption that if they're gonna do paving and you were talking about stormwater, that they're going, I'm assuming that they're gonna do something with the stormwater as well, correct?
There's going to be a small amount of work with the stormwater,
Mhm.
so I guess I would wanna hear what you're,
I'm wondering where that's going to be. Because there's stormwater inlet on my property. And then I'm wondering if there needs to be one at the edge of my property as well, where I believe. The people that were complaining about it were talking about. I think that there needs to be one there as well.
I will say this, that I don't think that an actual inlet, that was not part of. That's not a pay item, so if it was determined that. You wanted Beach Valley to put in another inlet.
I'm not saying that that has to be done. I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form. I was just asking the question, if that was.
But if we decided to put in another inlet at the same time, then that would be on the stormwater board. Because it's not a pay item in the
Not paid.
contract, right? So it could be, but again. We can definitely talk, because I know I've got someone in my office who is finalizing what we think we're going to do out there. They're probably not gonna start for about another month.
We have a meeting coming up.
Yeah, there's a pre-construction meeting.
Yep.
And we can talk about that, so I guess what I'm saying is, I'd like to hear your concerns outside of this meeting,
Yes,
just so I can.
Actually, I was gonna say, we'll go ahead and finish the meeting and we can discuss, because I have lots of questions about what you're talking about.
Well, I may not know the answer
Yes,
right now, but
right.
I can help.
Yep, I would like to know everything going forward as well. Yeah. Thank you.
I think you
Okay, so, was that?
talk about pay.
Haglund, I was gonna go to Haglund. Okay, so as you know, Met's camera the sewers. I also watched those videos to see if if I felt that they found everything. And then there was one spot where there appeared, I think Met's called it a gas service. And I think it's a gas service too, but I sent that to NIPSCO to find out what they would do about relocating that. However, I don't know how speedy NIPSCO will be, especially when it looks like they might have just one spot. Now, that could be, again, we don't know how long it'll take them, but it has been sent to NIPSCO. So what we think for the project, that NIPSCO aside, like we could do our point repairs in other locations, and then that could be that point repair and their relocation could be on NIPSCO. So what we think is that we're going to put together project documents for two separate items. One would be clearing of the trees and the scrub that are over the sewer, which is in that, open area more near Westport on the west side of the storm sewer. And then also project documents for getting the point repairs made. Now, I don't recall right off the top of my head how many different sections there were, but again, I probably thumbed through that report. And, I remember seeing there was looked like a tree root had gone through at one point, and there were some holes. So if we could put those documents together and get that out, we'd like to see that under contract by June, so that any, whatever the cost of that is, any money that is left over from that fund that you were pulling it from could then be reverted back to the town council. And I think we had maybe spoken in another meeting that there might be a place to put those funds, but again, regardless, that's our plan, is to get those documents out so it can be under contract by June. Now, I don't know if just with the timing with that, maybe we might ask for another meeting, or if that will coincide, because it's April, so you'll have a meeting in June. So I don't know if that'll coincide, it may, but that is our plan moving forward.
You actually took 6 things off my list. Fantastic.
All right, so
Our meeting in June is the 12th.
I'm sorry.
Our meeting in June is the
Okay.
12th.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind for our time. Don't you usually have it later too?
Stormwater meets.
Stormwater is
Every other month. But there may have to be, because if there's other things that are gonna come up tonight that we may have to have a May meeting, but we'll see. Again, it's up to the board. But thank you for that information. Yes, because I actually was out there myself also and saw the video. I watched it from a tail.
Oh, I
end.
remember.
I was out there.
Mhm.
And yes, I'm glad if you could please forward me the letter that was sent to NIPSCO.
Mhm.
So that we could stand that, because my concern is a safety issue, is that is a gas line going into a sewer pipe, which runs the entire length of Hagla.
Did you write a letter? Did you call it on?
No, I have his name is Mike Hudak. He even met with us and initially, like, when we thought we were going to remove and replace. So he's been our point of contact. So I emailed him.
Okay, well, I have a phone number. I reached out to somebody who works at NIPSCO, and she told me it would be a new business department for anything moved, and she gave me the service line, so I will give that to you.
Oh, okay, that might be the better route to go. So
Okay,
I appreciate that, and I'll get that from you, and then I'll call that tomorrow.
okay.
Thank you for your report.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Right, I take care of the engineering report. Now we'll go to old business. Future infrastructure projects, which we talked some of them about. Other things that have come on, and the head with the storm sewers, we did talk about the scoping of that. Getting together and going through what needs to be done. You're gonna put a report together of what,
The
of
various
this,
point
right,
repairs.
which that was on my list here, which is great that you're gonna put that together. The timeline on that is probably gonna be when?
Well, that's a good question, as soon as possible.
Yeah, because especially if we wanna get these funds corrected and moved on to where they need, because they do need to be used up by the end of the year.
Yes.
Which I know is part of the process, so I wanna make sure that we keep what we need to do and move forward on the rest of it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to get together is on the MS4, with Nicole being the secretary for stormwater. As far as all the paperwork, like I know you sent out those reports that need to be done on a yearly basis or whatever to keep us going forward in that. We need to create a place that this is all gonna be kept at.
I do have,
You already
folders.
started that?
Yes, there are folders and whatnot with any correspondence.
Fantastic. So, yeah, so that's what I wanted to set it up so that we have one location that everything's at, so that Brandon, myself, or anybody on this board needs to find out something, they know where to locate it, not asking, who, when, and where.
Now, this is like down the road, but I was reminded of it, Brandon and I talked about it. So, one of the items that the MS4 program has to do is public outreach. And not only that, it seems like when in the annual reporting and then even some of the other reports, so you have to even have metrics. Like, we had this event and about this many people were reached, or we handed out a brochure. So, for example, give you an idea, like correct me if I'm wrong, but you have like a 5K or something in the.
Yeah,
And actually, I did not.
at Lakeland, for firefighters.
So that might be a good point to have your MS4 person and maybe someone else from, within the departments, maybe have a banner, stick it, where people can see it, only water or something to that effect, only water down the drain, or, that kind of thing. So that metric wise, obviously we also want to educate people, so I'm not just making it up.
Absolutely.
Right, but then you could say, we had this event, you probably have an idea about how many people attended, and then you can make an estimation that literature, not that they're coming up and taking a brochure necessarily, but that banner would be seen. It's items like that we gotta kind of forward think on. And there is an event, it is actually coming this weekend, you've probably heard of it, it's the Porter County blah 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 Earth Day event. which-
Yeah, at the Expo
At
Center.
the Expo Center. Now, it was kind of short notice with trying to get the program off the ground, but that might be something to consider for next year, is that, the coordinator could attend that event and maybe in partnership with the Porter County MS4 person. And, obviously,
Build a relationship.
yeah, that, and there's so many people attend that event, so, but that's, usually around Earth Day in April. But in terms of budget wise, with it being a Saturday or just adjusting hours, plan ahead for that. That's just more, put it in your mind, those type of things.
Yeah, last meeting, actually, I gave Shem, because when Nicole sends out the sewer water bills, she sends out a pamphlet. And we were talking about that already, creating a pamphlet that would go out, it comes out the first of the year, so this year's already gone out.
Yes,
But it would be a pamphlet that would say, just what you're saying, here's to educate the consumer, don't put your gutter line into the sewer, and certain things. So that way, again, it's getting out there, it's an outreach program, which hopefully that's part of requires for the grants and
yes.
us going forward in
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we were looking at that, and also we have a flat strip sign that we can put out every now and then and put a notification of something that's going on. Recommend that you do this, recommend that you do that, maybe in the springtime, when he's doing his leaf cleanup or street sweeping, which you're doing right now.
Sure.
Add something to it that we can.
There's a couple events at Lakeland that we could do, the back to school, and like they do a couple things there where there's a decent chunk of people there,
That was
so.
great. Yeah.
Budget constraints are tough right now, but those items I think we can do without it costing us.
We do currently include in every payment booklet that goes out to current and new residents. We do have an MS4 education slip as well.
Fantastic. I gave that to Shem, copy of that.
Right. Okay.
I'll give it to. Fantastic. Okay, moving on. I think that was it. Anything else?
I just have a couple things.
Go ahead.
Again, Jeanette Global has turned in the part C, submitted that for the deadline, so that's good. I'm still in contact with Putnam Builders, they have a weekly report, they can send me via email. So I have those. I do believe Global still continuing to work on a storm system mapping.
Think so.
Yeah, I talked to Sean, I think he's about 30% done, but still in the works. And then street sweeping started on Monday, it's been going good. It ends the end of the day this Friday. We have to figure out how to dump it and get rid of the waste, just right into our dumpster and they haul it away. Short of that, it's a success, besides some hazardous cars that are still in the way of the block areas. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah, I did see the signs that you put out.
I put
Marking.
everywhere,
What
every
good it did.
subdivision, the best we could, and use a massive sign too.
Well, I think this is our second year, I believe, doing the street sweeping.
We did last fall, that was
Fall.
our first time, yeah. So
First time
this is
this spring.
We will do it. We're finishing on Fridays.
So hopefully we can get, again, those are things that, I know you put it up on a sign out here. The flasher sign was out there, and I know that I saw the signs that said no parking in that. So thank you again for.
It was successful, we got a lot of done.
What's that? Yeah, no, we're trying to find a good information avenue, because again, a lot of that stuff that goes on
Yeah, is there
websites and stuff, we can't put on because it's.
Yes. I
And
would have a report.
My sister's sorry, what am I supposed to do about it just because they found in the road?
We're trying our best. All right,
Maybe they should not have so many people living there, they wouldn't need all 6 cars.
It's only two.
2 people with 6 cars?
Okay,
Oh, jeez. Okay.
what about you, Slip? Thank you. All right, moving forward, new business. We have a financial report.
That's attached to your templates.
Yeah.
I have an extra copy if needed. Alright.
Very nice, I think we're good. All right, thank you. To accept the financial report.
I motion to accept the financial report.
Please keep it down in the audience.
Motion to accept the financial report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Drapes.
Yes.
Jack McGraw,
Yes.
Alan Migliarini.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of claims with 2 or more signatures.
Do we have any?
Do we
Yes,
have any?
you have 2.
We have 2.
Mhm.
Okay.
You need a motion to approve.
Thank you. Entertained motion to approve claims, signatures.
I create a motion to, it's per each PO, right?
So you need 2 or more signatures to approve the claims for payment. So you need to approve the claims that need to be paid.
With 2 or more signatures.
With 2 or
Okay,
more
so I make a
signatures.
motion to approve the claims with 2 or more signatures on them.
Sorry, second.
Taking a note. Call it, please.
Lisa Drapes.
Yes.
Jack McGraw,
Yes.
Alan Migliarini.
Yes.
Super. Okay, a couple other things that aren't really new business, but they are to this board. At the town council meeting, there was some people that came to the town council meeting about certain areas that have property issues as far as flooding. They have been put on record to be looked at. At the present time, I personally have not been out there to look at them, but we're going to be following up on that. It's not something that we put on the side, but give the town, this board a chance to look at that. We're going to be getting together with the, Brandon and people that need to go out and look at these properties and, discuss that as far as the addresses go. That was, 360 South Blue Street, and then also we had an issue of complaint about 254 Lake Park, which Brandon looked at. We're going to go out and look at that again tomorrow, and then when I get a hold of the other homeowner, we will look at that and see what we can discuss with the homeowners as far as what needs to be addressed or fixed at this point. Any questions?
Because of, I mean, I've been at my daughter's house every time that they've had to come out because of her work schedule.
Could we have your name and address for minutes, please?
Thank you.
Phyllis Constantine, 252 Taken Road.
Thank you.
And so my daughter lives at 620,
360.
360. I just know where it's at, I don't know the number. Anyhow, she lives there and her backyard is still, I'd say about 4 feet from the fence line to into her yard is still swampland. And I've been out there and everyone that's been out there and talked to her has said that it's due to what this man has done. And I don't understand why it's taken so many people to go out and look at it and not do something about it.
Okay, well, just to address you a little bit, and not that this is, all I'm trying to say is that this is a brand new board. None of us have been on the stormwater board before. We're just getting wind of this, and also too at the town council. You have new members that just came on as of January 1st. Many of them are very new to the town and are just getting their feet in the ground and planning and finding out and addressing the issues that have been brought to our attention. the people that you've talked to in the past, we are talking to them if they're still here as either building commissioner or anybody that's involved in the issues that have been brought up. Give us some time, and again, asking because we have a new board. These are people that are volunteering their time to come on to help out the town, work with the town, and we're doing our due diligence as far as we can go. So just give us some time to look at it, and hopefully we can come to an answer to your questions.
In addition to that, I'm not certain that this is an issue for the town to address, and that it's an issue between neighbors and some sort of issue that needs to be resolved between neighbors civilly.
Well, what it is, it's my understanding, the gentleman that lives behind my daughter's house, he has raised his yard up to keep the water out of his basement, and so it's all coming down like this up to the fence line, which is bringing it in 4 feet from the fence into my daughter's yard. And with all the rain we've had, it's ridiculous.
I understand that.
And so, and then also too, there's a pipe that runs behind her house, behind her fence or by the fence, that's supposed to be going down east into a thing to take it to the water drain, town water drain, that it's not going anywhere. And the property next between my daughter and her neighbor, it's not, water should be going down there, it's not doing that. So there's a lot of things that are going wrong, and a lot of it has to do with the former, which I know it's not your fault, but the town had a building commissioner that didn't know what he was doing or didn't really care how things were done or check it. Because if he had, he would have seen that the pipe is not hooked up the way it's supposed to drain off these people's lawn. It's not just my daughter. It's this gentleman's yard. It's a swamp too. And I mean, you put grass in there and it's not gonna do you any good because it's.
And
gonna-
I understand it's an issue, and as the town attorney and the attorney for the stormwater board, I need to advise them that not to, stick their nose in where it doesn't belong, and I'm not sure that it's an issue that needs to be resolved by the town, especially when you're talking about a buildup of the property causing the swale to slope separately. That's something that, we can't control and needs to be resolved. If there's an issue with regard to some drainage pipe that was hooked up improperly or is not drained properly and it's a public improvement, then we have town engineers, town sanitation officials, building commissioners, we can investigate that. If it's a town improvement that is not working properly or is not installed or hooked up properly. But if it's not, if it's just some sort of, drainage issue that's owned by the HOA or the neighborhood or the subdivision, whatever, or owned by the neighbors, it's not our issue, and we can't come in and fix it if there's not an easement for us to come onto private property to address that issue, but we'll have.
So what you're saying is that because the man built his yard up without getting permit, coming before the town to get a permit to raise his yard, where they could go out there and check it and see if it was, what it was going, the effect it was going to have on his neighbors, then it's too bad to the people that's damage is being done.
You want me to, I see, you're looking at me.
Well, I'm looking at you because I've never heard of a permit to raise your, that's not a
Well,
type of permit someone even comes.
I also think, if you don't mind me speaking, it also sounds like you're giving specifics, which I understand because you're frustrated. But no one here can comment on that right now because they haven't investigated it. So it sounds like. It sounds like they're saying, all right, let us look at it, we're new, and see where everything is, and the attorney is doing his due diligence to say. And if possible, that it's not on us, or maybe it is, but no one's looked at it, if I'm understanding correctly. So I don't think anyone's like diminishing what you're going through or wanting to brush you off, but it's also saying, okay, well, let's get our feet wet in the problem and see where the problem is.
Okay, I understand that, but I mean, I guess because of the fact that it's been going on for so long. And we've had different people come out and look at the yard and it's just like, hey, I'm gonna tell you. Instead of saying, I'll get back to you, but then, cause it's been at least. Brenda, what has it been, about 2 months now since Melissa contacted us?
Yeah,
And
two months.
she sent pictures, she sent texts, she done everything in her, on her part to see that the damage that's being done is being brought to the attention of the board. And so that's 2 months and you have, so that means that it was back in February, this is April, so we'll say February, March. And other than the fact that people come out and look at, you got water standing here. And it's frustrating.
Okay, just to clarify, and we're reiterating what you've already spoke of. Is there an actual drain sewer in the back of your yards?
I don't know, I don't know.
That you know of?
I was told it was further down, not behind either of our properties.
Okay, well, that's something that the town will look into,
But it might-
as far as what the attorney is saying, what this board is saying, yes, give us a chance to take a look at it. If it is something that was put in place when these buildings were built and it's drainage for storm sewer, and there is a drainage pipe for that we will look at that. But if it's just the neighbor building up his property, people do things in their backyards on weekends and weekend work.
No, I understand.
And we can't control that. But if there is something that physically has been damaged or isn't working properly, that is operated by the town, whether it be storm sewer, then we will look into it. But give us a chance to look at that. I understand you had, and we only meet every other month. So it's only been, this is our second meeting that we've had this year. So please give us a chance to take a look at it. If it is something that the town does, but we will give you a follow-up on, or your daughter a follow-up on.
Yeah, because I mean, like I say, it's so frustrating because like I told you last week at the board meeting, she has a white
Okay,
husky.
we've heard this, okay, we gotta stop and move on to the meeting. We all heard this. I understand that, and we're doing the best we can, we're addressing it, it's been addressed at both the town council and now at the storm board meeting.
Okay.
So we're going to move on,
All right.
thank you.
Just be clogged. It might just be clogged.
And we need to find out what this is, yeah, who owns it.
And then, like, I don't have a schedule to do these sewers, to check these sewers like every other year or whatever. Because that would probably avoid a lot of problems. But if it's just been sitting there for 10, 12 years and no one's done a thing about it, well, it's just like these windows, they've been washed for about 20 years. It's gonna look bad, something's wrong's gonna happen, so it's just a matter of maintenance.
It depends what this is and who owns it.
Thank you. Moving on, the only other property that we, again, are addressing is on Highland. There were pictures, we've all seen pictures of, this is when we had the real severe rain. And since we're waiting for the report from the engineers to come back on the sewer lines, because there are sewer lines that drain for this property, somehow it's not getting to there, and that needs to be addressed. And we will be looking at that, following up over the culverts, or whatever it is. And just on that subject, the culverts, cleaning of the culverts and that, this, I know, I went back and looked at the minutes of the last 3 months that they had met 3 times that the last board met before they closed in December. They had discussed about Haglin and this property did come up about this flooding. They didn't talk about, they were supposed to talk about in December what they were gonna do. We did have a camera, but we'll wait, I guess bottom line is we're gonna wait for the report for you guys to come back on what needs to be addressed there. And maybe it's just a matter of opening up these lines so that the water can get to the drain, because the main sewer is running, it drains properly like it's supposed to and goes all the way to the end here, we're supposed to, but
The flooding's on one side.
flooding's on one side, and it's not getting,
On this side, nothing's going under.
there is, and
And
there,
I don't know if that's,
and there is a storm sewer that goes under Haglin to that side of the south side of Haglin. But we saw them and we actually, you'll see those pictures that'll show them, but the water's not getting to them, and that's what we gotta figure out what it's gonna take to do
If
that.
it's the
I
town.
don't know if it's the people doing farming over there and they've raised up the property and now that can't get to where it's supposed to, or what exactly is going on, so. Just wanted to put that into the minutes so that, again, we're addressing those situations that have been brought to our attention. And that's it. You have anything else? No. And I did speak with you about your issue, you're gonna speak with her.
Yeah, I'll speak with her after this, and I'll probably make sure I come to the next meeting and.
Can we put that on the books, the next meeting?
It says on this bottom of the agenda, next meeting, it's the third Wednesday.
June 19th, perfect.
Into 2024, that should be at the same time at 6:30 P M.
Okay. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Drapes.
Yes.
Jack McGraw,
Yes,
Alan Green.
Yes.
thank you.
Oh, God. There we go.
What is your name?
I'm Jeanette.
And my name is Travis Captain, nice to meet you.